And so a lot of times, two resets, I think commentators, they try and say that referees, you feel a lot of pressure to make a decision, and like you do. So given that we're in the 80th minute, I've just showed you a sequence of really unstable, really poor scrums. The rest of the story of the scrums, if I show you here as well, is that if we look at the scrums in the game, they actually never really got going. Like we had free kick, penalty. So, looking at the scrums in the game, there was no real clear, who was dominant, who had the advantage. I was having that in my mind as well going into the last play of the game. So we have had the first scrum, and ball comes in, no real team goes forward, both teams sort of collapse. And if I look at this far side here, which was on my AR side, was there a decision here? So we look at, okay, tight head's got to be off the arm, so he's on the arm there. Loose head's got to have his elbow up, not causing a collapse either. So both players, you couldn't even on review, I can't really pick who would be at fault there. So actually, I don't mind a reset there. So when I put that in review, I actually put a green there. Now, I was challenged around my assessors around whether I could have got the ball out in this situation. So even though we got a collapse, could have asked England to play the ball. Now, yes, the ball's there, and I could have asked them to play it. But one of my philosophies is that I don't want to take away a collapse scrum from the team putting the ball in if both teams have gone to ground. So I want England to actually have be able to do what they want to do there if they're strong enough, but I also want Scotland to be able to do that as well. If both scrums go down, then we'll have a reset. But a learning for me is that, okay, potentially in this situation, look, the ball's at the back there. Could I just say use it, and then we get on with the game, and then we avoid the next sort of lots of scrums, which I'll show you now. Mm. So here we got, so I'm having to decide now, okay, who's at fault? Where's the penalty? So again, we go down, we wheel, no one's going forward. Okay, I'm resetting that as well. And so a lot of times, two resets, I think commentators, they try and say that referees, you feel a lot of pressure to make a decision, and like you do. It's definitely a feeling that you get. But one thing I got out of this is that I was really comfortable sitting there having resets until I see something really clear. So again, we have another set. Now it's stable, then it wheels, and a wheel's just a reset. So, a team's trying to go around the corner. So I said, okay, guys, look, no one earns this, no one deserves this. We're going to reset, and I'm going to called the front rows out and just said, look, guys, whoever is more accurate first, whoever stays up first is going to be rewarded. So trying to put the pressure back on them. And then I think we finally get to the last scrum. So we've had 5 in a row now. Wow. We get the good stability. This is 84 minutes in the game. 2017, the crowd's just going absolutely ballistic. But I was sort of focused on, okay, I've got to see something clear. If I don't see it clear, and then we get the ball out, and then Scotland turn the ball over, they kick it out. So in the end of the game. And so there's a lot of, I guess, not criticism but questions around, okay, should the referee have awarded a penalty in this scenario? And so when I go through the detailed review around my setup, okay, my binder gap, my binder set, the gap was good. When it wasn't, I reset it. Okay, so I didn't let things snowball. The time was really good, and kind of like you said, yes, I did probably rush that last one, but we had good stability. So then post set, a lot of the issues were around tight head and loose head, okay, from both teams, just to collapse on set. And so I look at that in terms of my review. What can I take away from that? Okay, I can take away that when you stay strong with your setup process, even at the end game, and you don't guess, and you leave it up to the players, then you'll get good outcomes. Even though the outcome was maybe 5 resets in a row, you didn't succumb to the pressure of having to blow a dodgy 50-50 decision one way. So I wasn't sure about that until I actually went through the detail and actually did this review now. So for me, that's a big part of I guess that review process, and a big learning around definitely scrums in that game.